stream. You are with Baggins here today, and just killing a bit of time, so I thought I would do a bit of a live stream of the Need for Speed game. I've done a couple of earlier videos on this, but I thought we'd just do something quickly on the live view, just to give you a feel for it and see what it's like. So this is a sort of Need for Speed menu here. Some snapshots that accrue over this side, various daily challenges which we can have a look at here. So escape a pursuit that lasts more than 3 minutes, get £1,000 fine by speeding, and win the Drift Like a Panther event. So there's various different challenges there. You can have a look at it all in good time. Spent a reasonable amount of time on this, level 53, completed all of the journey events, etc, etc. Not done very well on collectibles, but there we are. Anyway, so we'll just jump right in. As I say, just killing a bit of time, so I thought we would have a look-see and maybe pick up a couple of daily challenges as we go. This will be a bit of a brief stream, but hopefully for those who are considering, possibly getting Need for Speed, there's been some excellent sale prices recently, or those that have been putting off getting it and are a bit unsure. I think it was reduced in the PlayStation Store. £1, which pretty reasonable price really. So yeah, there's a good mileage in the gameplay, and the online world's pretty cool as well. It does take a little while to load up via the EA servers, but I'm sure that'll come anytime soon. And it's not too bad. They've fixed quite a few of the glitches from early on, which involved not being able to race very easily with other people, even though you were in a party in the same virtual online world. They've introduced a far better sort of matchmaking system where you can get people together relatively easily for different events. So maybe if we get in and have enough time, we can have a look at that as well. If you're new to Baggins International, do check out our vast collection of online videos. I think there's well over 100 there now, mostly featuring GTA 5 antics, but quite a lot of other games as well. We're mostly playing Battlefront at the moment, when we can get a decent Baggins International crew together, but various other games are there that we have played over the last year or so, since PlayStation 4 came out. So this is the garage. There's a few cars in here. Got the latest project, which is a black Supra, which actually hasn't featured in any of the Baggins International videos showing Need for Speed so far, and does need a little bit of finishing off, but it's there or thereabouts, and pretty powerful. I'm not sure what this is running. So basically the various different options here, just briefly, is you've got parts you can attach, paint and wrap, visual customization, handling, tuning, and performance customization. I know there's be loads of videos that cover this. So this car here is running 1098 horsepower, has a top speed of 227, and has pretty much all of the top parts on. Maybe take that out for a quick run. Got my trusty NSX drift car there, the Nissan GTR, and you can just move them into the primary slot here so you can have a better look. So the Nissan GTR, this just gives you an idea of the wrap editor. So you can add loads of stuff on. On this particular one, I've gone for a sort of half sticker bomb wrap on one side, with a few sort of nice details there. And then on this side, I've basically got Super Mario World inspired graphics. And as Mario doesn't feature in the decal pack, that's all done with shapes, etc, etc. As you can imagine, it took quite a while. Anyway, that's the GTR. Let's just have a quick look here. So yeah, the NSX got the pretty standard Porsche, which I haven't messed around with too much. It's just pretty simple body kit, and then a little bit of a technical wrap with a sort of a matte silver and a gloss black back section. This is one of my favourite cars for just bombing around and just taking it easy. I must say the Need for Speed world for 2015 is absolutely spectacular outside, so let's stop messing around in the garage and go and take a look at it. Everyone exits from the same garage, which does cause a few pile-ups, so you never really know what's going to happen when you come out of your garage door. Usually you crash straight into the back of someone else that's either away from their controller or not really getting on with the game, so that can be a bit of a challenge. But hopefully we'll be alright. So That's us exiting the garage. Be prepared to steer left. Oh, no, fortunately we're not crashed into anyone there. And this just gives you an idea of what the Need for Speed world looks like. It's perpetually nighttime, as you might get from a drift. Ah, ding that already. So, as you might get from a sort of a drift-focused game. It's always a little bit rainy as well, so but that gives you an idea of the sort of detailing you've got. There's lots of AI in the game that sort of bomb around the map and can be very annoying. Just as you're hooking something together, you crash straight into the side of an SUV or into a pickup truck, or, well, there's all sorts of things bombing around. Large trucks are often the worst. So this is just sort of the downtown area where the garage is. As I say, there's only one garage. Everyone comes out of the same garage, so it's not like you can buy various different things on GTA. We'll scooch over to the map and have a look. You can see here, these are other players that are around in this online world at the moment, actual players. It does also outline any AI that may or may not be within the event or finish an event. They seem to stay around for a little bit if you're doing a race. So you can see the scale of the map here, and also the different types and styles of race. So all of these little icons are individual races. So you can see there's a lot to sort of look into within the standard game, without really having to push yourselves to spend hours on tuning or customization or anything like that. There's just loads of stuff, and it's a really nice sort of progressive story that takes you through. So I do recommend this game on that basis. Anyway, we'll have a look up. This sort of upstairs mountain area is really top. Just bear with me 2 moments. So we're teleporting now through to a race. So some of the options you would have seen there from the map, that you can either route your, which then involves driving there because it's the whole GPS nonsense, or you can just teleport. So as long as you've been to an area or it's opened up to you on the map, then you can teleport straight to it, which is quite handy. The sort of area around here is pretty cool because you're up in the hills and you can sort of see out and over into the city, which is quite nice. And it's a little bit brighter up here, which I like. Anyway, we'll get into a little event and we'll see how that pans out, so you can get a feel for what. I've just driven into the barrier there, which is rather unfortunate. So we'll swing around here. And we'll do this one here, which is one we have featured. There is a full-length video of this car doing this event, so you get a feel for how this works. And as soon as it loads up, we'll have a go. As you can see, they've haired off now, and that wagon and that 4x4 and that saloon. So let's see if we can catch them up here. So we've got NOS as well, which is obviously a big feature in the Need for Speed games. and does allow you to close the gap. The drifting element does take a bit of practice. There's no two ways about that. Actually, maybe getting in some clear air here is going to give us some advantage. But the drifting element does take a bit of getting used to. I spent a lot of the time in this game initially feeling like that American guy off the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift film, where everything he tried to drift around he crashed into immediately, pinging from one fence to the next. Now, I think I've just about got it down to a slightly more fine art now. But that being said, anything can happen in this game. You think you've got a drift going, and actually it all falls to pieces when you hit a truck or a delivery vehicle or something like that. Saloon or something gets in the way. And it's not as easy as you think to stay out of trouble just with fellow racers. You'd think they'd have a bit of sense about them, wanting to protect their very expensive... Oh, you see, there we go, very expensive drift cars. But no, they just plough into literally anything and try and run you off the road. So sometimes it does feel a bit more Destruction Derby than Need for Speed. I don't think it needs to be that way. They could have probably written that in, in a slightly different way. So it, even the modes where you're trying to work together and pull together some sort of cooperative drifts don't often work very well, because you end up in mid-drift crashing into someone and it ruining the whole sort of smoothness of the drift, which is what you really get the points for, that and drift angle. Now drift angle can be ridiculous on this game. The Ken Block Unicorn cart they've reproduced in game gets up to some insane, it's almost like it's going back on itself, which is quite crazy. I mean, the Porsche cars are very nicely balanced on this game, and I presume that's something to do with the guest drivers that they've got in the storyline. Obviously, very famous Porsche guys. We've done alright there, 132,998, banked some cash, and you see it's quite nice, it fluidly takes you out of the race itself into general play. That's quite a nice feature on this, although it does mean that if you're being chased by the police you can't get that menu away quickly enough, and usually when you come out the other side you crash straight into a wall or something. But as you can see, there's no going back to a menu, you're basically thrown straight into the game. And that is quite nice, especially when you're racing with friends on here. So you can, as I mentioned earlier, the online network play, they've dramatically improved since the beginning of when this game first came out. And you can race with other friends, crew members, whatever, on the game very easily now. And so not having to go out of a menu when you come out of a race really does help with keeping things together, so you can race together, do an actual designated challenge and then do an impromptu race pretty easily. There's a bridge there, you've got to be very careful. So that just gives you a bit of a shakedown. So the other feature on the game is the fact that everything's sort of done through your phone. So they've tried to sort of integrate the social features of the world into things, which is quite nice. So if I want to now sort of jump back to my garage rather than arduously having to drive all the way across, well, I say all the way across, actually just here. So actually I might just drive here. So the route thing, there we go, it just brings up the GPS. You can see here there's another player in the game. He's got a F40 done in a very questionable fashion. Effectively he's just got it red and he's written something on the windscreen. I'm not really sure what. Anyway, you get some very dubious cars. Very dubious taste. I suppose people would say, perhaps say the same thing about my Mario Skyline. It's not necessarily. Okay, you didn't follow us. It's not necessarily the finest of taste or exactly holding down the drift scene. But it's a bit of fun. So you can't really knock them. I'm not really sure the two are comparable, because there's a lot of time is spent on one, and someone's just sprayed a windscreen on the other. As that is basically how you buy it. So these are the other vehicles. The Aventador in the back corner is quite a nice vehicle. Loads of power. This is the one I tend to use for races rather than drifting. But if you want to throw it into a drift, it'll drift like nobody's business. Obviously customizable number plate. This is all a custom job front end with the teeth. You see them variously on the Need for Speed Twitter feed that people have done, you know, different takes on this theme, different teeth and whatnot. But this was a very early car, my first sort of proper upgraded vehicle after buying my BRZ, which I think is what a lot of people start off with. So, tell you what, I'll have a look at this. Go out and just have a quick look outside. Then I will be drawing this brief street to get on. Have a quick look at Need for Speed. There's not many of us in the Baggins International crew that have this game. I think the captain has it, and hopefully we will be able to feature at some point his amazing Martini Ferrari. Speaking of spending a lot of time on a livery, he's got that down to an absolute T, which is really nice. So we'll have to try and get a bit of multiplayer drifting, bit of cooperative work going on there, so we can sort of showcase that. But yeah, hopefully this has been a little bit of a whistle-stop tour of Need for Speed and sort of the gameplay options, how it works, how the wrap editor works, a little look in the garage at different cars that you can buy. There's quite a decent collection there. And I'm sure we will be revisiting... that's a bit tight. I'm sure we will be revisiting Need for Speed in the not-too-distant future. As I say, we'll get the captain's Ferrari out. We'll have a little bit of a race down the freeway and see what sort of top-end speeds we can get. But this was just an opportunity that arose to have a look at it. It is a beautiful game. The nighttime... Oh, that's a massive crash. We do have to be careful of sticking out walls when you're looking around and chatting, but you can see, just gives us a nice opportunity to look at the damage there. So I've rather ruckled up the bonnet. I think, in the event of a crash at that speed, I think we were in excess of 100 miles an hour at that point, into a solid concrete rebar divider, would probably do a little bit more than ruckle up the bonnet. But it does just give you a feel for what the damage limitations are. You can pretty much remove the entire body of the car, barring the roof, by crashing a lot, and certainly in the early days you may find that happens. I'm not doing particularly well around here, to be honest with you, but as I say, the Skyline's not a car I take out that often. But yeah, so that's a little bit of a roundup of Need for Speed, and there's lots more in this game. If you've been thinking about buying it, I would recommend it, but don't take it too seriously. You read these endless posts on games chat and whatnot around how unrealistic this game is. It's not really supposed to be realistic. No Need for Speed game has really nailed that down. You know, leave that to the Gran Turismos of the world, and just enjoy the arcade control style and the drifting element. It is complicated enough that you need to practice at it and get it just so. It's not... Oh dear, this is very squirrely at the back. I might need to do something on the tuning. It's not something that's going to come to you straight away. The drifts don't come perfect, and that's part of the challenge. You know, once you do get into the groove and you start to get the drifts there's plenty of game to enjoy. So I'll leave this on that wonderful crash into that lamppost, and as I'm overtaken by a civilian on the road. So he's driving a BMW 3 Series there. Yes, I think he is. I'll leave that there, and we'll catch up with you later on. Do subscribe to the Baggins International channel. Do check out all of the extra videos that are on our YouTube channel, and keep an eye on that for regular updates. Maybe not daily, but we'll certainly get on every week to try and post something up there. And we'll catch you soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Goodbye.